Bill and Ted 3 is most excellent. And imagine all the pressure that's in Bill and Ted to write a song that saves the universe. Well, there's just as much, if not more pressure on Bill and Ted creators and screenwriters Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson to actually come up with that song. And I can't believe it, but they actually did it. The ending of this movie, especially the last line, is so perfect, it'll bring a tear to your eye. It brought a tear to mine. It was like a really good, children's or all ages book or something. Not to say this is like a kid's movie, but it was just so beautiful in its simplicity. I can't believe the way they solved it. It was maybe the most impressive thing they'll ever do. It was that good. And get this, while it will deepen your experience if you've seen the previous Bill and Ted's, you do not need to have seen them or remember them very well to enjoy this movie. I recently rewatched the first Bill and Ted, but I didn't have a chance to watch the second one because DC fandom, all this crazy stuff happening, but I was vaguely familiar with it. Maybe you want to quickly peruse the trailers, maybe read a Wikipedia entry. That's all you really need to do, quite frankly, to enjoy this movie, which is a very smart move by the filmmakers. Not to say that you won't get a little extra out of it if you've watched the first two movies, but you can just dive right in here and have a great time. So yes, about 30 years after the first two Bill and Ted's, because nostalgia is king these days in Hollywood, Solomon and Matheson deliver the best and most professional Bill and Ted movie yet. Perhaps because they themselves have matured. It has been 30 years, and that is reflected in the script, totally grounding it. Bill and Ted mature? Whoa, kind of, yeah, they are. Because, the movie is very much about realizing the importance of family, both spouses and children, and that family is something even more important than rock and roll. But don't worry, rock and roll is still important. I thought that was beautiful. Solomon and Matheson also get a significant assist from the most experienced director they've worked with to date, Dean Parisot. In fact, Bill and Ted 3 feels a lot like Parisot's other meta-comedy, the now iconic and classic Galaxy Quest. The film overall has a real nice professional sheen to it, really nice, which allows a number of the jokes to land even better. And then when some of the jokes, not many, but there are just a few that fall maybe a little short, but they still land softly in a safety net of a well-made film. I don't think there were any bad jokes anywhere in the movie. It was really a joy to watch. And there's also a lot more going on this time, with not just Bill and Ted going on a time-traveling adventure, but their daughters go on another one as well. That keeps the movie very busy. It moves along at a very fast clip, which I think is also helpful. And the two adventures contrast and compare really nicely with each other. How so? Well, there are a lot of surprises in Bill and Ted 3. And I suspect that keeping them secret is I don't suspect, I know that keeping them secret has created trailers that don't do this movie justice. However, it was a lot of fun being surprised while I watched Bill and Ted 3. So I don't want to ruin those surprises either. Let me just tell you that Bill and Ted 3 is much better than the trailers make it look. I will say, though, that I was very impressed with how the movie highlights the artistic spirit and how artists recognize and respect each other. I loved that. And the importance of music producers. You know I love the business of anything, so this was fantastic. And it shows that music producers are just as important at creating great music as singers, musicians, and songwriters. I thought that was really sophisticated. It was great to shine a light on that element of the music business. The other Bill and Ted's were about two guys who loved music, but I feel that Bill and Ted 3 is a movie about music, and that made a really big difference. I will also say that going along with the overall maturity of the film, the time travel elements here are less random than they were in the first movie, and therefore they are much more effective. And the stakes are also much higher and more poignant when Bill and Ted end up going to hell again. It was great. Very, very well written. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it was well written. The acting is also really strong across the board. While it's weird to see Keanu Reeves without a beard, really weird, I cannot get used to it. It is really fantastic to see a big movie star, just like with the recent Zombieland 2, to see big movie stars returning to the roles that got them started, and Keanu Reeves fully commits. And while Alex Winter himself never became a star, and the movie could have easily focused more on Keanu's Ted, right? They could have done that. But instead, they're still the dynamic duo, and Winters does a great job. And I think it's very generous of Keanu Reeves to, not ask that his part be bigger, and to not, they really still are a team. And it's really fantastic to see. And again, Winters is excellent, and it shows how fickle Hollywood can be, that not everyone makes it, even if they are talented. Alex Winters is clearly, certainly, at least a capable actor, and he should have gotten more work over the years. I think it's on, maybe he will now, because he does a really nice job. Bill and Ted's time-traveling antics, visiting their future selves, are hilarious. Thanks not just to Reeves and Winter's performances and some very clever setups by the script, but also the amazing work of the VFX makeup department. On that note, stick around till the very end. There isn't an amazing, but it's a cute end credit sequence. And if you're really into the movie, I think you should see it. It was cute. Samara Weaving and Bridget Lundy-Paine are indeed Little Bill and Ted, and they do a fantastic job, particularly Lundy-Paine as Keanu Reeves' daughter. They do an absolutely wonderful, wonderful job. Like, Samara Weaving is very, very good, and I think she gets better as the film goes along, but Lundy-Paine is Ted Jr. That was fantastic. I think every father-daughter out there will appreciate the dynamic here and the love between these father-daughters. I thought it was really nice, and you don't always see that in movies. I thought it was, the father-daughter relationship isn't always focused on in Hollywood, and I thought it was really nice. William Sadler is once again hilarious as Death. He has like a small role, but it's not wasted. It's very, very good. While an unrecognizable Anthony Carrigan, I was like, who is that? And then of course it's Anthony Carrigan. He's hilarious. He's a killer robot from the future. I love Carrigan. He was great on Gotham, and he's also so good on Barry. If you haven't seen Barry on HBO, what's wrong with you? It's amazing. But unfortunately, so the movie's not perfect. Kristen Schaal is a weak stand-in for George Carlin. I like Kristen Schaal, but she's no George Carlin. Carlin, by the way, does make a quick digital cameo. And Holland Taylor is also very talented, but she just isn't given much to do. And it's a bit disappointing to see Aaron Hayes and Jayma Mays, I can't believe their last names rhyme, cast as Bill and Ted's wives. Recast. They've never played the roles before. And my biggest problem was that they're barely old enough to play the moms of Samara Weaving and Bridget Lundy-Paine. So it would have been nicer, I think, and a really great touch to bring back the original actresses who are still around, either set of them. I think that would have been nicer. The Hayes and Mays just kind of stuck out. But it wasn't too bad because their roles are very small. And I thought the roles themselves and the way they factored into the movie was nice. But overall, Bill and Ted Face the Music is an absolute delight. A real feel-good movie, which of course I think is perfect for right now. Also, it's good right from the get-go with the Orion Pictures opening. That's a flashback from the past, right? A blast from the past. And also the music that comes over it. I don't remember if they actually had the music like this before, but it was delightfully 80s. Like right away, I was like, I knew I was in for a good time. And you will be too. I highly recommend it. Bill and Ted 3 is available this Friday, tomorrow, August 28th, both in theaters and on premium video on demand, so you can purchase it to stream at home. So share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.